Hello everyone, thank you for joining our webinar with our nice partners from SellerLogic. I'm Nick Penev, the Partnership Manager of hellotax, and we decided to call this series hellotax and Partners because obviously we cannot do everything ourselves, so we need all these great partners to help us out, and they're experts in things that each of you, if you're an e-commerce sellers or a service provider, they need, because we know that the Amazon jungle is very hard to go through. So these companies are like machetes, which are using to actually make your road around the Amazon jungle. So today, the webinar that we're having, we have SellerLogic is a partner of ours. We have Ludivine, who is the client success manager with SellerLogic, to actually let us know how you can actually win the buy box, because the buy box, from what I learned, because I'm always learning in these events, is probably the most important actually metric on Amazon. So thank you everybody for joining the event. Right now I'll pass it to Ludivine to tell us more about that, and after that I'll tell you about the unpleasant but necessary VAT compliance. But of course you first need them, otherwise you won't need us. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the chat or in the Q&A section, and we'll answer them at the end of the event. So thank you again, everybody, and over to you, Ludivine.
Thank you very much, Nick. Well, first of all, a couple of words about me. So my name is Ludivine. I am Customer Success Manager at SellerLogic, which is a company that develops dynamic tools for Amazon sellers. Before that, I worked for 15 years for an Amazon subsidiary where I could get familiar with all the Amazon processes and gain a lot of experience that is very useful for my job today. So let me share my screen with you. There you go. Do you see everything? All good?
Yes, I do.
So today I want to tell you all about the buy box, why it is considered to be the holy grail for every Amazon marketplace seller, how to win it, how to keep it, and all that while ideally increasing your margins. So we will then focus on repricing, which is one of the key factors to winning the buy box. What is the buy box at all? I guess most of you are familiar with the idea. For every product, Amazon decides which seller has the best offer, and that offer is featured at the top right of the page with a direct link to the basket, the shopping cart. And why is that important? Because 90% of all the sales of Amazon actually take place in the buy box, and 10% are left for all the remaining sellers. But who wins the buy box? Well, according to Amazon, the person who wins the buy box is the seller who offers the best customer experience as a whole. Of course, the algorithm hiding behind that, just like for Facebook and Google, is extremely well kept as a secret for Amazon. But if we look deep into the help pages, and thanks to our insider knowledge, we are able to identify some key criteria to reach that goal and win the buy box. First of all, as a seller, you have to reach a whole set of minimum metrics and rates and ranges to be eligible to win the buy box at all. We identified kind of 3 groups. You have all what has to do with the order itself, and if it's fulfilled or canceled. You have all the metrics that are bound to shipping. So the shipping method you use, the time it takes, if you use tracking, the proportion of orders that are late. And then you have all the metrics bound to customer service. For example, if you reply within 24 hours. Well, the documentation on Amazon help pages is really dry and quite technical, but our marketing team actually did dive deep and compiled an extremely good summary of all those criteria in a workbook called 13 Steps to Winning the Buy Box. And we'll be happy to share that link after the webinar. You can review then at your convenience every of those criteria and go into detail into that. Of those 13 criteria to win the buy box, here are the 3 most important. Price, and the final price is the main criteria. The final price, we understand the item plus shipping as a group. Price is actually a criteria which is good because it's something that is relatively easy to monitor with the right tools. It's easier, for example, than customer satisfaction. The goal will be to be competitive, but without compromising your margins. Next to the price, you have the shipping method, and some of those shipping methods give you better cards to win the buy box than others. For example, Prime by merchant, meaning that you send your goods by yourself, but with some high standards, enough to win that Prime label. That gives you good cards to win the buy box, but it requires from you as a seller excellent logistics skills to meet those Amazon standards. In the eyes of Amazon, FBA is the best. FBA, it means fulfilled by Amazon. Some of you might use that service already. It means that you ship a part of all your stocks directly to Amazon, and Amazon takes over the logistics for you. The 3 essential steps of the process. So storage, shipping, and customer service, including all the returns and refunds. So that allows you to have the best rating and be at the same level as Amazon with the Prime label, with the ship by Amazon tag on the website. And that gives you excellent cards to win the buy box as well. And the third main criteria to win the buy box is shipping time. Next to those criteria, which are SellerBound, Amazon defines a buy box eligibility price range for each product. It means that it's a price range below and above which you will be technically kicked out of the buy box, or in the worst case, the buy box will be removed from the product landing page. If you are too cheap, you're considered as suspicious, which is not a bad thing because it protects all the sellers a bit from errors or scams, short-lived sellers, newcomers, and price dumping in general. But on the other hand, if you're too expensive, you're considered not competitive. That price range, that eligibility price range, is an information that we have access to, and a good repricer like SellerLogic will systematically integrate that information into the logic of the repricer to make sure that you stay within that range. So why is repricing important? As we've seen, it's a key criteria to win the buy box. And how does repricing work? Well, it monitors the prices, compares all your direct competitors, and reacts and adjusts the prices automatically on your behalf. What do you gain from it? Well, because it automates all that manual process, a repricer should save you a lot of time, which you can then invest in some other part of your business. And it should increase your sales because winning the buy box will mean that you have access to that 90% of the demand. Those 2 things is what any repricer should do for you. So win time and increase your sales. Now, a good repricer should have more than that. It should help you achieve some extra things like increase your margins, because the goal of a repricer like SellerLogic is not to be the cheapest, but is to win the buy box with the best price. It should also help you calculate all your costs and define minimum and maximum prices, your own range for each product, to ensure that you always gain money. So the repricer will then move within that range. And a good repricer should also offer you a whole range of different strategies to adjust to the type of market and products that you offer. The buy box strategy is our key strategy and the most used and probably the most important. But next to that, if you are a private label, and you have no competition, you're alone on the product landing page, then you should have strategies that help you increase your sales as well. It will then be bound to your sales. A product which doesn't sell well will have a price decrease, and a product which sells a product which sells well can afford to be a bit more expensive, and a product which doesn't sell then will decrease its price to be more dynamic. Other strategies will allow you to align to a specific competitor or to blacklist some other competitors or Amazon or some other people you don't want to mess with. So you should be very flexible to adjust to your needs. So what is dynamic repricing and how is it different from static repricing or rule-based repricing? Well, dynamic repricing achieves the classic function of a repricer, which we mentioned. It monitors the prices, it compares the competitors, it reacts, adjusts the prices, but it has a trick that tops all that and outsmarts the rule-based repricers. As we said, it does not aim for the lowest price, but for the buy box. And as soon as it wins the buy box, the price will increase to optimize the margin. And it keeps a whole history of all these adjustments to win back the buy box faster in case of it loses it. Let's have a look at a concrete example. Here we have the case of a rule-based repricer. So it's a simple rule, for example, always be 10 cents cheaper than the cheapest price. In this case, seller 1 is one of our competitor. He's currently cheaper and he wins the buy box. We are seller number 2 with our static repricer. And we decrease our price with that rule to be slightly below. If seller number 1 has the same type of rule, it will do the same and be a little bit cheaper. As a result, we'll have some price dumping mechanism, and it does not give me any guarantee that I win the buy box. Now, let's have the same situation with a dynamic repricer. Seller number 1 wins the buy box currently. Our dynamic repricer will start decreasing the price, not to be 5 cents cheaper systematically, but little by little until we reach the buy box. And as soon as we're in, it stops decreasing the price, and actually it will try to increase the price little by little, because our repricer knows that the buy box is not only based on the price, but all those criteria that we saw earlier. So if you have another competitive advantage, like you have more stock, or you have better shipping times, or you have a better rating, you can actually afford to sell at a higher price because you offer a best overall service at a best possible price. And this is seen as such by Amazon. So the dynamic repricer will increase the price little by little to reach the best price in the buy box. As soon as it loses the buy box, it will immediately return to the exact price to win it back, because it knows when it won, when it lost the buy box, it keeps a history of all those changes, and it learns and reacts faster. So here is again a summary of all the advantages of a repricer like SellerLogic. You have a dynamic algorithm that we talked about, which helps you have the optimal selling price and higher margins. It is available internationally. You can book individual marketplaces the way you want to for different amount of times, really according to your needs. And that makes it really well scalable. On the right, I shortly mentioned, this is the second tool that SellerLogic offers. It's called Lost and Found. It is aimed at FBA sellers. It analyzes all the FBA reports, and there are many, to identify the errors, mistakes, and lost products and stock from Amazon. It helps sellers to claim reimbursements and assist them in the communication. I won't go into the detail because we are focusing on the repricer today, but might be a topic for next session. If anybody is interested, they can reach out individually. Now, about the repricer, as Nick mentioned, there will be some time after the webinar for some questions and answers, and I'll be happy to answer the questions you may have. And now I guess Nick will tell you a bit more about hellotax and the joys.
Yes, thank you,
of
Ludivine.
back in Europe.
We already have some questions, but let's wait until then because so far always good. Obviously, they're showing how to actually win the buy box. Obviously, if you do that, if you scale your brands or if you have like a new product or whatever, eventually, you would need to pay taxes. And even right now after COVID, the marketplaces, Amazon in general, because they're the biggest one, they're even more strict in regards to the VAT compliance. So obviously, you would need to do that, or you can get your account suspended, or you might have other penalties. So this is actually what we do. But of course, we do the events with partners because there is a long journey that you need to go through before actually reach hellotax. So for most of you probably know what the VAT compliance is and what in general is VAT, but let me give you some quick introduction about hellotax. The actual co-founders used to be Amazon sellers. They had their own agency, so they were looking for a VAT compliance solution for their brands and sellers. They didn't find one which is tailored for e-commerce sellers, so they decided to build that. That was 5 years ago. So that's one of the reasons why we're talking today. And me, myself, I used to be a client of hellotax. I had my own brand, which I sold last year. So I can tell you that they're a perfect solution for multiple market Amazon sellers. And this is the goal for everybody, to start from one for your home country and expand to as many markets as possible. So let me share my screen just to give you a very visual and simple presentation about what exactly VAT means and I mean what actually we're doing. So obviously now, like I said, we provide the VAT compliance for online sellers in Europe. This is what the solution is tailored for. Amazon sellers and other marketplace sellers. So let me just start the presentation. So what problem we're solving? Obviously, no, we don't do VAT registrations for sellers in their home country. So you only specialize when you're actually expanding and selling cross-border across Europe. E-commerce businesses into Europe and European Union, what they need to know? They need to know their VAT liability from the past and the present, meaning that if you store goods somewhere you don't know, this doesn't mean that you're not going to be penalized. So obviously we educate clients about that. You need to register for VAT in different countries and file the returns according to the different regulations there. We actually monitor the view of the goods from different markets because that's required in some countries in Europe. And obviously, we actually have a dashboard where you can see all the sales and all the revenue that you're generating across different channels. So there is actually two reasons why you need to register for VAT right now. One of them is when you exceed the threshold, and the second one is if you store goods in any market in Europe. So right now in July, some of them probably know, some not, but there will be a major change in the VAT regime, which is called the one-stop shop. When the one-stop shop is effective in July 1st, the distance would not be that important because you have 10,000 euro VAT threshold. When you reach that in your home country, you can deliver to the rest of Europe with one VAT in your own home country. On the other side, the VAT registration for storage, this is something that stays, meaning that if you store goods in any market in Europe, you need to register for VAT. Obviously, different countries in Europe have different VAT rates, so we all know that we have that in our software, so we'll calculate the proper VAT rate in each market. Complexity of the actual registration. There is, on average, the VAT registration in Europe is probably takes from the shortest is like 6 weeks up to over 3 months in Spain. Poland is one of the easiest to register, and Spain is one of the hardest because they require original documents, notary, etc. So always know what is the solution that we're solving. We have the digital online VAT registration and returns. We have the data and processes verification by our tax agents in each market. We have account managers speaking multiple languages, and this is on the back end. But of course, the important thing that actually we offer is our tool, because obviously it doesn't matter what I'm talking about right now. It's important to actually show you guys what exactly we're offering on the front end. So let's say you're an Amazon seller. You have done the VAT registration. We're ready to go. So this is the thing that we do. This is our dashboard. You just log in like any other um, tool, email, password. Then you go to the settings sections. On the settings sections, there is an integration. If you're like an Amazon seller, you open that, you put your seller ID, authorization token, save here.
Nick, can you please show us the software? We're
Oh,
still on
you,
the
oh, you
presentation.
don't see it. Okay, guys, let me share it properly. Yeah, I guess.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's good that you're telling me that, because sometimes okay, so do you guys see it? Do you see it, Ludivine? The
Yes,
software? Okay, sorry
thank you.
about that. It's just so much pressure in these webinars, even though it's not my first one. So anyway, so we'll just start over now. This is our tool. When you log in, the first thing that you're required to do is you come here to the integration section. If you're an Amazon seller, you put your seller ID, authorization token, save, and that's it. If you have like a menu, like a private label website, you come to the menu order report, you download a sample file, you fill, you export and import your data and upload it here. Right now, we're actually implementing Shopify, BigCommerce, Cdiscount, EasyBill, and Dativ. So they're in the test phase, so soon they'll be available as well. So after you do the integration part, you come to the actual dashboard and you'll be able to see all the data that we get from the marketplace, Amazon, or your private label website, or whatever channel you're using. So you are able to see your gross turnover, you can see your net turnover, you can see your total VAT. You can filter by channel, Amazon FBA, on web shop, you can filter by countries, period. Here, you can see the actual orders. And like I explained earlier, what we actually monitor: sales, expense, refund given, refund received, assets movement. You can filter again by channel, by VAT country, movements of goods from one to another country. Of course, you don't need to do that. You can have your accountant do it. But the thing is, it's very visual. It's easy to see exactly what's your liability and what you're doing here. And after the integration, the next thing that you're required to do is here. After we file the report in whatever, in one or multiple markets that you're doing, we actually publish the actual VAT return here. So you can, if you say in Poland, is in the sample in the demo here, you can just open that, read, download, and pay that to the tax authority. We're not allowed to do the payment on the client's behalf. We're only required to do that in France for non-EU sellers. So this is what to do. The other thing which is important for you and for your accountant, if he's managing that for you, is the tax letter inbox. Obviously, tax authorities in Europe, they communicate in different languages. So they send communication to us, since you're representing you, either by email or like a regular letter. So what we have the software who actually gets the communication and have a translation template which actually translate it in English or German, so you will know exactly what is required from you by the tax authority. Of course, the account manager will help you about that, but you have all the information here. Eventually, we're finishing our tool here, and you'll be able to add multiple markets. So whenever you decide to hold stock in a certain market, you can simply do it through the dashboard. So that's how it looks. It's easy on the front end, so we can just connect, sell, and we just take care of the VAT compliance. And obviously, because tax compliance is not fully automated, we have account managers in multiple languages in the tax agents who can do the manage part on the back end. And so you guys don't worry about that. So this is what we do. I'll stop sharing right now, and I guess we can start with the questions, because that's the most important of the webinars. The presentation is one thing. We would like to answer as many questions as possible, and we have plenty so far. So let me start with the first one. That's from Edmund. This is actually for you, Ludwin. How to avoid messing a product with price battle? If a bot is managing, wouldn't there be a point where margin is no longer available?
Well, it's a good question, and it's that's the basis of what the repricer brings at the top of a rule-based repricer. As we explained, our goal is not to be the cheapest, and we go beyond that simple rule that says be cheaper than the cheapest, which leads to price dumping. We aim for the best price. So we aim for the buy box itself, and we see that there are other criteria that play a role into defining who wins the buy box, and this is what we will aim to. So as soon as we reach that, we stop decreasing the prices and we actually go up. It is great in the sense that that price range eligibility that Amazon sets is quite rigid, but with repricers like us, that tends to push the price higher. It extends that range a little bit to the top, and that helps every seller to sell with higher margins actually, and to keep the buy box longer, even at higher prices. So hopefully that's what we bring.
Actually, we have another question actually for you. It's from Anil. He's asking, do I need to be like a new seller, or like do I need to have like a lot of metrics so I can use the repricer? How does it work if I'm a new seller?
If you're a new seller, you just register with us. You connect your Seller Central account to the repricer, and we'll import all the data that you are available. We'll import all your products. We will help you set the minimum and maximum price for each product, which is the minimum things that you have to do to define a range. We import all what you have already. We help you to find that range, and then our customer success managers will help you define the right strategies for your products. And as soon as you have that range and a strategy, you're good to go to optimize your prices.
Okay, thank you, Ludivine. I have one question from actually, it's from Stephanie. Hello, Nix. I'm Stephanie. I actually watched one of your webinars, and you guys were talking about one-stop shop. In regards to the one-stop shop, do I need more than one registration after the OSS? So this is now how it works with the one-stop shop. You would need to apply for VAT numbers in your home country in the EU, or for example, if you're a non-EU company, you would need to nominate at least one country in Europe where you register for the one-stop shop. Then you would need to apply the VAT number in all the EU countries where you're storing goods. So obviously, just if you're EU company, EU entity, it's usually your home country. If you're non-EU, you simply nominate a country to actually do that. Actually, there is one question from Robin. Is winning the buy box all I can do with the repricer? What if I sell private label and have the buy box anyway? Why would I need repricer then?
We shortly mentioned that if you are alone on the product page on Amazon and you have no competitor, you can still have dynamic pricing, meaning that you can decide to set your price to a minimum price at midnight every day, and then increase during the day, depending on the amount of sales that you want to have. So if you want to reach 10 sales at a minimum price, you can program that and slowly increase your price after that and set it back at midnight every day. Or as we said, a product that doesn't sell well, decrease the price. A product that sells well, increase the price slowly. So you can have logics for private labels as well.
Yeah, so like demand is supply, and I guess if there's more demand, your solution just increases the price so they can find the optimum, like higher profitability. If it's low demand, obviously no decrease. So it sounds very well. Actually, have another question from Emma. That's actually for us. Do you help us to obtain an AIRE number, or do we need to do it separately? Yes, so we do that. We can obtain that with us. In Germany, for example, if you're in non-EU, entity in Germany, you would need to hire customs agents, but obviously we have a partner who is doing that. Another question for us from Mema. Do you also help with the VAT registration in foreign countries? Is this done for you or again prior to using the software? I'm not sure what you mean by foreign countries. If I assume you mean countries which are outside of your home country. If that's your question, yes, this is actually what we specialize in. So if you're based in Germany, we don't do VAT. Okay, yes, in the EU. So yes, we cover Europe, we cover UK, Germany, Spain, Italy, France, Sweden, Czech Republic, Poland, France, Netherlands, and soon we'll be covering car one. So if you're based in, actually, yes, in the EU. Actually, Emma, can you confirm if you're talking about outside of Europe, or within Europe? Okay. Do we need to register for this prior to using your software for business? Okay, so I actually just summarize. If the companies are outside the EU, yes, we do that. There is the one difference is for non-EU companies is that there, in some markets in Europe, they require fiscal representation, which is like an insurance that the non-EU entity will actually pay their VAT liability. Actually, we have that. It's like an additional pricing, and it's good that you actually mentioned that because after the one-stop shop, if your clients are non-EU based, Amazon is actually going to collect the VAT on their behalf and pay that to the tax authority for sales under 150 euro. So the fiscal representation would not be important anymore. Okay, I think we have another question. Okay, actually a question, it's an anonymous attendee, that's for you, Ludivine. To download the 13th step to win the buy box, you're asking for Amazon store URL. What do you mean by that? The storefront link, I assume, right?
Yeah, the link of your Amazon storefront.
Okay. We have few here. Let me just answer. Actually, there is one for you from Stefan. Why use a repricer and not the repricing tool provided by Amazon? That's a nice question.
Okay. Well, the repricing tool from Amazon is not a repricer. Basically, it's a one rule tool that says, am I in the buy box? Yes, no, decreased price, and that's it. So it never goes up, basically. So which kills the margin, as we say. It's not in the interest of Amazon to have higher prices. So a good repricer will at some point raise back the prices as soon as you are in the buy box, which that Amazon repricing tool does not allow.
Okay, thank you, Ludwin. Let me see. We have a few more questions here. That's actually for me. It's again the one-stop shop. I guess that's the important topic. That's from Maria. Will I need to report all my sales to the OSS? Not actually. The OSS is only for B2C sales, so not only for B2C sales. And we have another one that's again from Stefan. Is it possible to use the repressor only for a section of the stock?
Yes. First of all, you can select the marketplace of your choice. You don't have to activate everything, but during the test period of 14 days, all marketplaces are open so that to allow you to test everything. It's for free anyway. But after that, you can book a subscription for a specific marketplace. And within that marketplace, you can create groups and apply a specific strategy only for a section of your inventory, or optimize the price of one product if you want to. So that's really easy to scale that by grouping and doing group operations.
Thank you, Ludwig. Actually, one other question from Stefan. Is the repricer only for Amazon? Are you planning to offer the tool for other marketplaces? That's a question from him.
Currently, it is only available for Amazon, but we plan and we hope to develop that for other marketplaces in the future. But at the moment, it's specialized in for Amazon sellers indeed.
Okay, thank you again. So actually, this one question from when. I'm currently registered for VAT in few countries because I hit the threshold. Can I deregister my VAT in these countries where I do not store? So yes, that's actually good news for you. I mean, after the 1st of July 2021, obviously all the sales to these countries can be reported in one single one-stop shop report. So there is no need to keep the VAT registrations in all these markets. So that's good news, guys. I mean, it's much easier right now. I don't, especially for a new brand owner, obviously everybody starts from their home country. This is how I did it myself. I start from my home country, I sell, and I start to the neighboring markets. And once I scale, eventually, before you need to do the VAT registration in each one when you hit the threshold. Right now, you just use your home as base, and eventually, once you have good revenues, of course it's advised to use the storage in Amazon FBA or other marketplace, because obviously there is a big competition, so you need to make the quickest deliveries, customers needs to be happy, and obviously you cut your logistic costs like that. Let me see, I think we have one last question and I think we'll be done. So regarding the OSS report, again from Nguyen, the OSS report, who is actually doing that? Is it me, my accountant, or you? So yes, I mean, this is actually what we do. I mean, we do the OSS report for you in the markets that we offer. And like I said, we offer Italy, France, Poland, Czech Republic, Germany, Spain, Austria, Netherlands, Sweden, and Ireland. So it's getting easier for EU-based sellers. It's a little more complicated for non-EUs, but I guess, I mean, that's how the EU likes it. So another question from Maria: for the sellers who would like to continue using Amazon too and start using Repricer, will be there any conflict between Amazon to Repricer? Thank you.
I assume that they want to know if they compete against Amazon,
exactly.
and if that's a problem. Yes.
Exactly.
Amazon is a seller like any other one, and it doesn't have any problem to compete against marketplace sellers. So by default, Amazon is a normal standard seller and you compete against them. And sometimes you have actually better competitive advantages against Amazon. If they only have some products in the UK, for example, but you have stock in Germany, then you have better cards and you actually win the buy box. And Amazon is fair game in that case and lets you win the buy box if you have a better offer, because they want to provide a good service to their client. And yeah, they're fair game for that. Now, if you don't want to have any trouble with Amazon, or if you want to be careful, you can take a strategy that blacklists Amazon, basically. So you just ignore Amazon as a seller. You can blacklist them, and you only compete with all the other marketplace sellers. This is an option for you as well. So both are fine.
Okay, let me see. Come on, guys. One last question. So, and I'll let you go actually outside to enjoy the nice weather. So actually one from Edmund: if you put the same price, that's for you, Ludivine, if you put the same price as the one with the buy box, can you still win the buy box or still make sales?
Sure, because the person who wins in the buy box has different rating than you for all the other criteria that we have seen. So they have a different stock, they're located at a different place, they have different ratings. So if you have the same price than the buy box guy, depending on your criteria, maybe you're better. So maybe you can afford to sell at a better price, or you don't need to be much cheaper than the buy box person to win the buy box as well. And if they reach their minimum price, then you're good to go. So yeah, there's always a chance.
Okay, so I think, I mean, we don't have any more questions, but of course, that's not the end of the world or the day. We're gonna send you email after the event. You'll have the recording. You'll have all the questions. So if you guys think of any other questions, or you would like to get in touch with Ludivine or hellotax, just get back to us when we send you the email, and we can either book a call with them or us, because the idea is to help you out. If we don't succeed, we don't succeed as well, because that's how Amazon works. We help each other because it's like a jungle. So you need your friend there. So anyways, thank you guys for joining the event in the sunny day. I'm hoping it's sunny across Europe. It's very sunny here. So Ludwin just sent their email, but like I said, we'll send you the email with the recording, and you guys can get in touch with us. So enjoy the rest of the day and the weekend, and thank you again for joining. Thank you for speaking, Ludwin, and
Thank you very much, Nick.
enjoy. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Have a nice day.